Hey guys, Johnnie Ferro here, and I am here to talk to you today about the Slidewinder Ring. Now, my friend Alex Calder, he's a guy I met at NAMM a few years ago, and he makes these things. So these are rings that have a slide bar in them, and there is a very powerful magnet behind that bar. Now, what that does is it makes it so that you can have this ring on, right? It goes on your middle finger, about halfway down. You can still close your hand and like curl your hand, so you can actually play. You can play no problem, and then go into your slide stuff when you want to. But also, you have to use so little pressure to get this thing to work. It's like growing up and playing guitar, I always wanted to do slide, but I could never do it because I couldn't get used to playing the damn slide. It was its own language almost, you know. And this, you know, when I first met Alex at NAMM, I love telling this story because, you know, he's like, well, do you play slide? And I was like, no. He's like, well, today you're going to play slide. And I was like, yeah, whatever, buddy, sure. And sure enough, he sat me down, gave me a guitar, put this ring on me, and I played slide. And it sounded actually halfway decent. Considering I hadn't ever really played and didn't think I could, I was pretty happy with what I was able to do. Fast forward, I end up using these things quite a bit, and I've been playing around with them over the years, and they're just great. You know, I mean, there's certain things where you just need a slide, but maybe it's not the whole song. You just want it for a part of the song, for a solo, for whatever, and you can have this on, go into that, and it's really easy to do. Even if you're not a slide player, like with a little bit of practice with this thing, you can get good with it very quick, get the sounds you want, and then go back into your rhythm or your other leads or whatever you want to do. And it's just one of the most innovative things I've ever seen, and Alex is also one of the nicest, sweetest guys I've ever met in my life. I mean, I love him to death. And he actually, I met with him, I was down in Arizona, and we met up, and he was just telling me about some of the things he has going on. Like, for example, with this ring here, this is actually a prototype ring, and he's done some things, A, with the magnets to make them more powerful, and B, he's also, if you look at this bar, this is a bit wider of a bar than he used to have before, and the shape of it's a little different, I believe. And what that does is, he calls it making it more forgiving, but basically it just makes it easier to play. I couldn't tell you the physics of why that is. I just know it makes it easier to play, and having played around with it a bit, it's true. It does make it easier to play. Now, the other thing I'm going to do in this video, so I'm going to show you the new Slidewinder Ring and how it's working, you know, and this is one he gave me. It's got a star that this is just super cool. Very Bootsy Collins. And then I have a second ring here, and what I'm going to do is put this on my right hand. Now, this is something that Alex has told me about a bunch, and he's showed me a bunch, but I've never really played around with what he calls the stratophonic zone. And what that is he explains it, and this is really quite brilliant actually, is he figured out between the end of the neck going down to your bridge, you got basically another, I think, octave at least of sound here that you typically can't get to. But with the Slidewinder Rings and using your right hand with the rings, you can get some of that sound and do some cool stuff. Now, I will preface this by saying I'm not like a super skilled guy at that. This is something I'm learning to begin, like, starting to get into, but I want to show you guys this because if if you're the innovative type, if you're like a Tom Morello type, or even if you're not and you're just like a guy who likes to have fun playing around with different cool ideas on guitar that you might not have otherwise been able to do, it's a fun thing to play around with, and you can get some really cool sounds that will just make your sound more unique and more you. All right, so I'm going through a Fender 112. It's a Fender Deluxe 112 amplifier. It's solid state, and then I got an effects processor with some high gain on here. I am going to do a little bit of clean as well, but I wanted to, for the stratophonic stuff in particular, it works really well with high gain. So I'm going to start there. So here we go. So right away, the other thing I noticed that was cool and that I'm actually really happy, I wouldn't be surprised if this was done fully intentionally because Alex is brilliant, but in the past, it's been difficult getting good sound out of the low strings with these rings, and I feel like this new bar design has handled it because I was just playing on the low strings and actually getting a really good slide tone on those lower strings. So that's pretty cool. So now I'm going to switch this to a clean setting, just kind of play around with some kind of clean riffs and just see how that is. So there you go, guys. Slidewinder Rings for the win. I can't, again, say enough about this product. Ever since I came across Alex at NAMM and he showed me what he had done. And this was, mind you, a few years ago when he first had come out with these. And now it's like, he's taken it to such another level. It's absolutely ridiculous. And again, like the nicest guy on the planet. I've never met a more selfless, giving person who, again, is just about really doing something to add functionality to what musicians do and give us more utility and things that we're able to do with our sound. I mean, it's pretty incredible. It's an amazing creative tool. So check out Slidewinder Ring. Link in the description below. Highly, highly, highly recommend picking 1 or 10 up. I mean, they all look pretty darn cool. A lot of functionality. You can put them on all your fingers if you want, and who knows what kind of crazy stuff you could do. I just showed you very minimal stuff that I'm doing. I mean, like I said, I'm no slide player. I'm still learning a lot as far as the style of playing, and this ring is making it possible for me to actually become a slide guitarist. It's like one of the coolest things on the planet to me. So guys, check them out. Check them out not only at their website and ordering, your rings, but check them out on Facebook, Instagram. I think he's on like every social media platform, but again, I'll put some links down in the description below. And guys, until next video, I'm Johnnie Ferro. Keep picking. Have a great one. Mwah.